Well, back to our panel, Minister Flavell, who's an old boy and former principal of Tipene, and Minister Parata, whose brothers attended Tipene. So you've both got a personal connection to this school. Joe Harawira paints such an evocative picture, doesn't he? I mean, can you see the school reopening?
Well, I kind of like to hope so. Joe's been on this pilgrimage for a fair period of time, and I've got a huge amount of respect for him, as have most of the old boys. They understand his passion. Remember when we went to school together, think about his dad and many of the old parents that used to come and support the school, and so we have a passion about it, have attempted over a number of years to keep the dream alive. Joe's still hanging in there, and a lot of us are still behind him. And there are some practical things.
You would like to see it?
I think there's still a place for Māori boarding schools, and as we talked about earlier with Scotty, you know, it's just about reshaping it, what it might look like, and the part to be played by the various parties, whether that be the church, whether it be somebody else to support the boarding element, because that, at the end of it, is the key, as well as being able to offer up the new world of education that the Minister talks about quite regularly.
Are you behind it too, Hiki Parata? Do you want to see Tipene reopen?
Oh, look, that's a matter for the Tipene old boys. My role is when propositions are made for us to consider them. I think, though, that we do have to be realistic. There are now 2,500 schools in New Zealand. They are extremely diverse. There are options from, you know, partnership schools, private schools.
You were saying that earlier. I do understand that, but I mean, would it be a tragedy to see another school like this close, and would it actually be a great thing to see Tipene open?
Again, it is the choice of parents to do that. So, for instance, I was at St Joseph's Māori Girls College in Napier Friday. Now, that school's role is growing. The record of achievement is consistent and high, and they have found a particular recipe that has made it work. In fact, their role is almost half of all the boarding schools.
So you're saying there's a lot of choice, and actually we've got Meka Whaitiri who says something similar. Let's have a look.
Well, one, this government has to stop sponsoring chartered schools, and they should be putting the same amount of effort into maintaining, like I said, these iconic Māori boarding schools. We've had too many closed to date. Queen Victoria, we've also lost St Stephen's, the alumni of the current Minister of Māori Affairs, and yet we're putting millions and millions of dollars into experimental schools around the country, and it's a real shame. So if Labour's in, we're going to actually put in money where the need is, where we can get the best bang for our buck, and those are definitely in Māori boarding schools.
What's your response to that?
My response to that is that, first of all, there are 9 partnership schools, and they're funded at the same level as, for instance, Turikina is. Turikina is a decile 3 school, so we fund the partnership schools at that level. Moreover, the vast majority of kids at the partnership schools are Māori. Their parents have chosen to send them there, in the same way as parents who choose to send their kids to Turikina have done.
Is the answer possibly in the problem that perhaps Tipene, for example, could apply to be a charter school?
Well, that is a matter for the Old Boys Association. These options are available to them, and I have certainly mentioned them to a number of the old boys when they have raised that matter with me. But in the end, the government can, does and will play its part, but it is what parents choose to do in terms of where they send their children that really makes the difference. That's true for Turikina, for Te Aute, for Hukarere, for Hato Pētara, Hato Paora, and for St Joe's, as it is for all the kura kaupapa, kura a iwi, mainstream boys, girls, co-ed schools.
I think that's the Minister saying about the fact that the state is committed to be able to provide that educational side of the recipe is really important. So now what are we looking at? We're looking at the boarding side and the ability to sustain a viable boarding element in a package called Māori boarding schools. So that's the key.
But the key is to get people to send their kids really at the
Sure, but
you've got
a viable pathway.
We do have to leave it there, though, but thank you both very much for your time this morning.
Kia ora.
Thank you, kia ora.